Violence is a learned behavior. Children learn violent behaviors from their families and peers, as well as observing it in their neighborhoods and in their communities. Youth violence can take many forms: bullying, gender and racial harassment, gang violence, gun use, and hate crimes. These behaviors are reinforced by what you see on television, on the internet, in video games, movies, music videos, and what they hear in their music.
I think we need to get back into the causes and what we can do as a community to stop this. Number one, it would be getting involved in our community again. You don't see the involvement in communities that you used to see. Everyone is pretty much doing their own thing. Instead of being what we call a community, we're turned into individuals. A person can stay next door to someone for 5 years and not know their first name or know who their kids are or anything like that. If sports is the way to bring the community together, we need to get more involved in the sports. Academics, our school programs. We're really concerned about youth violence, like, the negative spin that the media gives it. We need to really try to solve that problem. And solving that problem is getting back to our roots, getting back into the community, caring for one another.
We can stop teen violence in our community by parents teaching their children not to gossip, to be a leader, not a follower, to spread the word, stop the violence.
As an individual is exposed to more risk factors, the possibility that they will engage in violent behavior increases. Teens that are involved in gangs are more likely to commit a violent act towards another person, possibly even killing them. The longer a child lives in this type of environment, the more violent they may become.
It starts in the home, I think. I think that parents have to be more responsible for their children, okay? Also, we must do all that we can to keep children in school, because we know that truancy leads to delinquency, which leads to crime. So if we can strengthen the family, be it a single parent or husband and wife, that's a key. If we can keep children in school, that's another key. If we can have more after-school programs like you have here at Stony Brook, that's another key.
Well, the main way to stop youth violence in our community is by raising up the younger generation so that therefore they can do the right thing, so they can go back into our society and become future leaders of the community.
Youth violence is disturbing because it can inflict psychological damage to a person's sense of self at a critical identity-forming time in one's life. Youth who exhibit violent behaviors early will likely continue to act in destructive ways over the course of their adult life. Youth violence affects communities by increasing the cost of health care, decreasing property values, and disrupting social services.
Youth violence has changed in the city of River Beach as of November 12th of 2007, when we implemented the Youth Protection Ordinance that we now have in the city. And what this ordinance does is that any child on the streets after the hours of 11 p.m. and 6 a.m., they're in violation of the ordinance, and therefore we'll take them into custody and take them to the Youth Protection Center. But since the fruition of this ordinance, we have had no crime involving juveniles, and we've taken no one into custody. So it is apparent to us that this ordinance is working for the city of River Beach, as well as the city of West Palm Beach and the city of Fort Pierce.
I think what causes teen violence is when young teens try to follow behind other people and do what they do because they think it's good, and it's really not. Also, another thing that causes teen violence is when people see stuff on television that they think is cool and it's really not.
Instill good, positive things into children. Let them know that the violence is so wrong, and instill in them to do good things, because when they do good, they feel good about themselves, and others feel good about being around them. So don't always look at violence as a good thing, because it certainly is not.
What I think causes teen violence is kids being in a gang, doing drugs, and copying what they see and hear in rap videos.
If the teen violence stopped in this community that I live in, I feel that the community would be a better place to live. The teens will respect one another as well as the adults, and we would be able to know how to communicate with one another, and we'll not have to worry about our doors being locked because of someone hanging outside the door that's going to promote violence or any type of crime to our home or to our children.
If teen violence doesn't stop in our community, I see plenty of things happening. I see people dying. I see less and less people walking around our neighborhood. I see the population will get decreased because, like they always do say, the kids are our future.
Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Violence is anything that denies human integrity and leads to hopelessness and helplessness."
So try to stay positive and keep a positive attitude. Check your behavior all the time and not feed into the negative and praise those that are doing negative things. It's not right.
Clearly, violence leads to violence.